Well, as you all know, there has been a lot of talk recently as we approach the ending of the Space Shuttle program, which has been so much a part of Houston. We wanted to start today's show with not only a look back, but also a look ahead. Please welcome mission specialist from the last Endeavour flight, astronaut Mike Fincke, retired NASA pilot, aviation consultant, and author of Dr. Charles Justiz, International Space Station Program Chief Scientist Dr. Julie Robinson, and Space Station and Orion engineer Mark Geyer. Please welcome them all to the show. All right, Mike, let me start with you. Looking at that package that we just did, I know you've seen all those things, you're familiar about all those things, but when you look at that, do you still get that feeling of wow?
Absolutely. Every shuttle launch, every time we launch any humans into space, it's absolutely amazing, and it gives me goosebumps.
When you were a little boy, did you say that's what I want to grow up to do?
That's exactly what I said. I saw people walking on the moon, and I said, hey, I want to do that. And God bless America that I had the opportunity to be able to go fly in space.
Wow. All right. For you, this thing called space, when you were a little boy, was it kind of was reduced to like one of the science fiction movies we'd see on TV, or was it a reality?
No, it was real. You know, I'm not that old.
Yeah, I remember looking at it as you know, a space movie, like young Will Robinson and thing,
Yeah.
you know, the whole bit.
I was actually at the Kennedy Space Center, and I saw the first moonshot launch as a cadet in the Civil Air Patrol. But even before that, I was a kid. I watched John Glenn go up and do the first orbits, and so we grew up with that. It was all part of us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm much older than you then, because I was sitting there going, wow, we really did go into space. Because what I knew about space was the science fiction movies that we'd see, and then all of a sudden it all came home. You are, we were joking before the show, a girl. Because we know that more men go into this business, and of course the beginning of the space program, they weren't quite sure if women should be a part of that. But what made you interested in the sciences?
For me, what got my interest in the sciences was really the ability to discover, to be the first person in the world that knows something, and then to share that with everyone and see what comes next.
Yeah. And Mark?
So I also watched the Apollo landings. My brother and I were in the living room with our fireplace tools, pretending like we were Neil Armstrong. And to me, it's all about building things, trying new things, testing them, see if they work, and actually doing exciting investigations.
Yeah, yeah. I remember walking outside and looking up and trying to see if I couldn't see them. I thought, why can't I? So this is not real because I cannot see them. Oftentimes people struggle with what exactly NASA has done. We kind of put it as an inanimate object up here, this government agency up here, and forget about how it touches our everyday lives. So if we could share just some of the things, I know you dealing with you know, research projects and the whole bit, some of the things that are part of our everyday life that might not have happened, or at least not as quickly, had it not been for NASA.
You know, the one that's closest to my heart is the technology in neonatal ICU units. So anybody who was born as a preemie and lived in one of those incubators for a time period, that roots back to NASA technology. So when we build things smaller for space, it has some amazing dividends here on Earth.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that puts you on to those spacecraft, because you knew what good it would cause.
Yes, it makes a big difference in people's lives, and we don't really realize it. And not just the big technical things like we're going to discover with one of the instruments that we brought up to the space station recently about more about our universe. More we know about the universe, like electricity makes people's lives better, but really specific things too. For example, power tools. Yeah. Everyone has the wireless or the cordless power tools now. Well, we developed those for
Y'all did that?
We helped with it. Yes.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, everyone likes power tools. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I got to ask you, as a real life astronaut, I got to ask you, what are the questions that people ask you at cocktail parties?
Everyone wants to know how we live in space. I mean, it's a very personal thing. It's not how many spacewalks we do or this or that. They want to know how you eat and then how you go to the bathroom. And because that's a personal, normal thing. Everyone pictures. We definitely eat. Yes.
Yeah, we definitely eat, and it definitely goes someplace. Oh, right. Dr. Justiz, what's the question they ask you?
A lot of it, same thing. Exact same thing. How do you eat in space? And actually, the food is quite good. We get to get some of the stuff that doesn't actually go up into space, and we can cook it at home. And what you do is you inject it with a little hot water, and that doesn't sound great, but some of the Paul Prudhomme has cooked for, has come up with the recipes. So the food's not bad.
Yeah,
It's very good.
Well, it was funny because my son bugged me the other day. He saw, it was like in a craft store out of all places, there was the NASA space ice cream, the freeze-dried ice cream.
I don't think that's ever flown in space.
These little squares. He's like, Mom, look, it's space ice cream.
Yeah.
All right, the shuttle program has certainly been critical for the International Space Station. And again, it's one of those things that we hear in the news, we hear ISS, but again, a lot of us haven't taken time to really understand what that is all about. It's a great accomplishment and takes a lot of collaboration between not only just people in this country, but around the world.
Yeah, the International Space Station is the greatest accomplishment of the shuttle program. And what it's given us as a nation, it's given us the ability to be on the cutting edge of technologies. It's given us cooperation in space on an international scale that we've never seen before. Think of the space race and how much international anger was captured in that space race. Here we are working with our Russian colleagues, our European colleagues, our Japanese colleagues.
We're collaborating on experiments. Because in the beginning, it was we got to beat the Russians.
Right.
And now we work together.
It's helped world peace.
Yeah,
Everyone likes world peace, right?
Yeah, exactly. and out of this world peace in this case.
But now here we are, and we're starting the decade of research on the space station. We just finished it. Now, working internationally, all the scientists are coming together to do all kinds of experiments that they've never had the opportunity to do before.
Yeah, and again, the importance of the shuttle was to basically take the pieces up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So what is it that we underestimate that it takes to do that?
I think part of it is we underestimate the complexity of assembling things in space, right? Not only is it zero-G, but also you have to have high reliability because you can't have things fail after you've spent the time and money to get them up there. It takes a lot of complex operations. It's a ballet to actually pull something out of the payload bay and align it perfectly with the space station and do those assembly operations. And then all the work with the partners, it's different cultures, different engineering techniques, just making sure all those work flawlessly, I think is hard to really imagine.
Yeah, it helps to know some other languages, doesn't it? One of you is it Russian that one of you speaks? Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Japanese also.
Japanese also?
You're very good.
Yeah.
And you know what, though? That's what got me my job at NASA. I was 29 years old, sitting in the interview room, and they said, "Hey, do you speak Russian?" I said, "Duh," and that's Russian for yes. And but that's when we go out to when we go out and talk to students, to kids, we say, "Hey, look, it's a different world than when we were growing up. It's an international world, and the more you know, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you have that ability to communicate with other people, especially in different languages. The more opportunities you're going to have."
Yeah, you have a sense of humor. You were the one you had to watch up there in space. Did you all, to pass away the boredom, if there ever was time to get bored, did you play jokes on each other?
Not officially, no. That's against the rules.
It's against the rules. And there's that camera all the time, right?
But you know what? We never got bored. Not because folks like Julie were keeping us busy, but also because you look out the window and you see our beautiful planet. It is the most beautiful planet in the entire solar system.
Yeah.
And we just would get mesmerized. It's like watching a campfire. You never get bored. This is like a million times better than that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and I got to ask you that feeling of when you finally go up into space the very first time. Was there ever any fear there?
No, I'm not smart enough to be afraid of it because it's a dangerous business. It's really dangerous. We've lost my friends. We've lost a lot of people along the way. But each one of those folks I know, and I know in my heart, are really want us to go on and explore, because what we're doing is not just for us and for a lot of fun and good stories at cocktail parties, but it's also really about making this planet, life on planet Earth, a lot better for everyone.
Yeah. Dr. Justiz, you've written a book.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Tell us what this book is about and how much of real-life experiences are in there, or is it just kind of a loose adaptation of it?
Oh, no, it is, it's a novel, but I was in a unique position with people like Mike, and the knowledge depth there is unbelievable. And I needed to know something about Navy SEALs. Well, we've got a couple of them. Some of the best stories are about Navy SEALs. I need to know about submarines. We have that expertise. We have to know about people that flew the SR-71. We have that. That's a supersonic Mach 3 airplane that we didn't even know about until about 5 years ago,
Yeah.
because it was secret.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing, the depth there. And it's not, you think, oh, these are all engineers, they're nerdy guys. Well, they are nerdy guys. We're nerds, I'm sorry.
Nerds are cool nowadays.
That's right.
Nerds are cool these days.
But the depth of the nerdiness goes in so many wonderful directions. So the book, actually, I have to admit, I stole from my experiences at NASA, because it's just too many wonderful stories there.
Yeah, well, just to make the record straight, I was a nerd too, and still am, and don't mind. All right, well, most of us were shocked when the announcement came that Houston and the Johnson Space Center wasn't going to get a shuttle.